everybody, back with another rant of the day. And in today's rant, we're going to be discussing Channel 4 and its music channels offering and why I think it could survive today provided it had sufficient funding and sufficient revenue as such. So if you are going to find this video interesting and entertaining, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you're new, share the content. With that being said, let's go. So what I'm going to do, everybody, is I'm going to showcase a news article that explained the Channel 4 latest shows cancellations. Now, this article was from 2023, so there probably would have been another show or a couple of shows cancelled between then and now. One of which I heard recently is the Naked Attraction show. I think that's been cancelled less than a week ago. So it just goes to show really that the popularity of Channel 4 is swindling. It's not gaining enough public attention as other popular broadcasters, say like ITVX or Channel 5, for instance. So it remains to be seen or unknown really as such as what makes Channel 4 revenue up, whether it's the ad breaks, whether it's the adverts, whether it's the advertising or advertising has swindled or doubled and the broadcaster can't keep up with paying it. I don't know. But as you can see there on the shows, it was Death Pack Lunch was cancelled. SAS Who Dares Wins, that was my favourite show. I've watched it since it's intercepted, and it was a really good documentary because no other broadcaster have commissioned a show of that genre, and as no other broadcaster have, have transferred the show or want to buy the rights from Channel 4, it remains cancelled, and there's no interest from other broadcasters yet to take on the show and renew it or give it another retrial. I think it's another word I'm thinking of. A retrieval essentially, like bringing back an axe. So there's a specific word I'm looking for, everybody, but you probably know the word I'm thinking of. It's just I can't think where it is at the moment. So let me know in the comments. It's something to do with bringing back an axe. So I think it's more retrieval, but there's probably another particular wording I'm looking to describe that context. But yeah, so SAS was my future, everybody. It was just extraordinary to watch. I think there's plenty of other programs I was axed as well. I think they were like reality TV, like Married at First Sight. I think there was another one where Channel 4 was going to go ahead with production but cancelled it at the last minute. And that incurred a lot of fines for Channel 4, if I remember correctly. I think they had to pay like 950,000 or 950, yeah, definitely in its hundreds, as a fine essentially, because the producers have made a show that Channel 4 didn't want at the time of the filming, so that didn't help Channel 4 budget at all, really. So yeah, what I'm going to do now, everybody, is I'm going to showcase this video clip. I won't show it all in its entirety because it's going to be under fair use, but what I will do is I'll skip some segments. So as you can see there, the box closing down little clip there. It didn't really give off the send off that it should do, really. I think that with more funds allocated for this closure, I think they could have, done a little bit better job rather than saying the service is now closed and done a little trailer. This is the box from 32 years ago. I just think it was too basic, and for how long the box was remained on the air for, I think that's a little bit disrespectful, really. As you can see, the 4 music had the same similar outro, like little animation, like 3D effect, and the service is now closed, so they had the same. Kerrig, I think that's more rock related music. I've not really streamed Kerrig TV, but I have heard of it. For music though, everybody, it was really good back in the day. I think back about 2011, they had a different graphics, so they had like a TV video graphic in one area of the screen, a weather information little board, and some comments where you could type in the live TV, and some other things on the actual graphic. I can't remember what. There was a clip circling on YouTube of 2011. I don't think that exists now. That explains exactly what I'm on about, but I think there's a time as well that they had displayed, and it made it stand out a lot more. But Channel 4 was the one that owned 50% of the share in 2007, but then took ownership in 2019, and that's what made the music industry fail, I think. So we're just going to look at the history now for music, just to give it more of a backstory. So they showcased a festival as well. I think they showcased T4 when it was on Channel 4. I think it was 2011. 4 Music did replace, what was it called, the hits. I think the hits as well faded out midway of a song. It's not uncommon for that to happen if you look at other TV stations, particularly Viva. Viva shut down halfway through the song, and some other channels, I think, as well have done that. So if they know there's going to be a pending closure, they can just switch off the signal at any time, scramble the feed, and just say, sorry, the service is now closed, essentially. It's frustrating, really, because, why can't I just let the song finish? A bit respectful, letting it happen like that, you know what I mean? So as you know, the reason everybody Channel 4 though closed because of funding and public public interest or public revenue or something like that type. But if that's the case for everybody, if they wanted to close its music portfolio, and they did so, by the way, on the 30th of June 2024, why would they launch an E4 Extra 2 years before its financial crisis, or maybe that a crisis from 2019? What made Channel 4 then go, all right, our music portfolio is failing, we should now relaunch or launch a second E4 Extra strand? And what service is that providing? If we look at E4 Extra in a second, um, and see what the main remit for that channel was. So, unlike Channel 4 other services, E4 Extra is not available for live streaming on Channel 4 streaming service. So even Channel 4 have launched that service, that TV service channel, they're still not incorporating it in its live TV streaming section on its website or app. So if they're just making it digital or torrential, how is that going to keep up then with the digitality of things? If Channel 4 wanted all digital, why isn't Extra then incorporated on its websites, its apps for live TV feature, or incorporated for that? Because if as the music industry that they owned closed, it'd only be a matter of time before E4 Extra closes, and then it'd be working its way to the main Channel 4 eventually. It's just going to be a massive blow to the torrential state of landscape. Because I personally, everybody, I don't watch much torrential TV or scheduled content much like that I used to. But it's just good to have that choice. If say if the Wi-Fi dipped, or anyone had like Wi-Fi troubles, you can go onto your standard TV guide and watch Channel 4 without needing a Wi-Fi service. You can't always rely or depend on Wi-Fi because they'll have problems. And if Channel 4 was moving digital, it's just taking that choice away from people who doesn't want to invest in that level of technology, that level of equipment, just to watch Channel 4 essentially. It's just going to lose a lot more people, because if people have streamed content via torrential for the last 60 years, nobody's going to go on to a digital service, because nobody would want to shift towards that era of modern way of doing things, essentially. So yeah, it's just astonishing. Maybe the E4 Extra was launched. They didn't incorporate into its brand on its website. So what was the point then of launching it entirely? I mean, as it says, entertainment and comedy, repeats as well, but that's what it is on there. But it's repeats, like The Big Bang Theory. That's also on E4. IT Crowd, and that's on E4. In Between Us, and that's on Channel 4 sometimes as well. Charmed, that's probably on E4. So why have they launched 2 channels? And they could just kept it on the schedule as E4. It's not like they've, launching or bringing out original material for E4 Extra just to gain, just to make it's worth it. Just if you're gonna launch a TV channel, you've got to make it's worth it. You've got to have some sort of idea about how it's going to succeed, um, how is it going to bring revenue back into the brand if you're going to launch E4 Extras. It's the same with 4/7. I mean, and we'll get into 4/7 in a second. But 4/7 was an idea that Channel 4 had back in 2012, about just airing its popular programming over 7 days. The downside is, I believe, for 4/7 now, you get Gogglebox on there, you get occasional repeats from probably more for now, like location, location, location. That's probably on there on most days now. Again, I can't say I've watched 4/7 much, but again, that was just another useless channel that Channel 4 have come up with. It sounded good at the time, but it's still allowed to be on air like 13 years after its launch, and it's still not providing anything for the public. Essentially, it's not. It's good to have all these ideas back in the drawing board, essentially, but in 12 years' time, you look back and you say, 4/7 was it a really good decision now to have launched it? And I don't think it was. I mean, if you've got catch up, which Channel 4 on demand is now, that features catch up functionality, on its catch up service. What is the point then of keeping 4/7 for that? People can just switch to the app, watch content at their heart's desires. 4/7, however, is providing something on the EPG that nobody really thinks is worth it. If you look at 4/7 and it's just simulcast to what Channel 4 is on a 7-day repeat cycle, it's just no. I just don't think. I think it's just pointless, really. But that's just my opinion. It'd be 4/7. I think 4/7 was probably one of the most useless channels, really, that they've launched in its earlier stages. E4 Extra most recently, I don't know why they've launched that. So it's all right saying there's budget cuts and everything, but they still allowed these services to continue, even though they've not come up with anything original for these services. They've not really give a reason why they've stayed. But by 2030, they'll all be switching to like digital, so it won't be a matter of time. I think E4 Extra, as it's the newly released channel from the brand, I think that'll close down first, probably make its way up to 4/7, and then more 4, and it'll gradually be all of them. So, for it to be off Terrestrial will be a lot weirder for people like myself or any others who want to look for the Terrestrial guide and find that Channel 4 is no longer there, and it's more for on its other channel block. So it will feel strange to see that, really. But as you know, it's 2025. Channel 4's got to keep up with the demand of things. They get everything switching to digital, but it's important not to push out people that wants to stream traditional telly. It's important not to push those people out of your plan, because most of your viewers are probably streaming content in the traditional way rather than the digital way. So you've got to have facts over figures. Are you putting the viewers first? Are you putting profit first? You've got to find that middle ground, and you've got to make a decision for both parties, essentially. Because without the people watching your content you're offering, it's never going to make a profitable brand, and it'll just fail. It will fail, and Channel 4, well, disappointingly, will entirely fail. I mean, it's not great. It's not pleasant to see or hear. But I just think Channel 4 needs to buckle up, really, and think about what programs that they have on offer at the moment, and think about how much money they can cut back from having repeats. Maybe even have a closing down or close down a earlier schedule, like make the hours less for the TV channels. I think there's a lot can be done, really, to potentially bring back money in for original material, and for 4/7 and E4 Extra to even still continue. Have a purpose for those channels. Have a purpose for what you set out for them, and if the purpose is missed, then the budget is going to go sideways. So it's going to look at Magic, everybody. So Channel 4 have announced as well that that's going to be closed. All of them has closed. So anything that's Channel 4 have owned, so like the box, 4 Music, Film 4. I'm not going to really talk about every channel that Channel 4 owns. Everybody, more or less the music. I know it's slightly diverted to like E4 Extra and 4/7, because I think it's more relevant, really, because they are two channels I've pointed out genuinely that has no real purpose for them now in 2025, and yet they still got them on the air, and there's no real merit for them. So Magic is closed on MPD. The box as well, I think that's the same now. They have closed. They will. They have closed everybody. Do apologise. As you can see there, though, the box was a really good channel, though. They had like text to TV and things, and all the rest of it just made people feel that if they want to have a good time, they can just put the box on their traditional boxes and jam out, essentially. Have a fun way of being a part of the channel, you know. So I like that feel to it, and 4Music might have done the same in its earlier years, but it all faded out and just went to a basic um, slide, like, you know, where it's got the video and a bit of text of what the video is playing. So it just streamlined that much, and that's what made the music landscape for Channel 4 ownership to fail on its knees, really, because, you know, if you took full ownership in 2019, even though you've got financial troubles and burdens, why would you take that risk in taking ownership of your music portfolio? Why not give the rights to somebody else? Like now, that's what I call music. They've launched a couple of new music channels, I think, like now 70s. Why not give them the you know the chance of reboosting the brand essentially? You know, get under their ownership and see what they can do to bring back that interest for people to stream traditional music content again. You know. But for it to be digital and pushing out digital, it's going to be a really bad move, I think. And people are going to say it's a side of the times. You know, you've got to make way and adjust to this new area of doing things. But it's easier said than done. It's going to have problems. It's going to have difficulties, and they're not taken that really seriously. You know, back in 2010, where internet was at its earlier stages, like super fast and fiber and things like that, that was just in development, and now they reckon it's going to be fully fledged by 2030. It's a target, but are you going to stick to that target, and is it going to fail? Because just like electric cars, you know, if you're going to go to a petrol station to to fuel up, and something goes down, you can't fuel your car up. So it's just about not being heavily dependent on this streaming lack. I think traditional TV should still be kept, um, should still be an importance, and for it to continue essentially. Um, but yeah, I think that's a lot of my thoughts, everybody. I do think though, if Channel 4 gave the rights um, from them that they've owned in 2019 and give it to somebody else, give it to another operator, the music landscape could potentially still survive. Like Nats TV, that's another new music channel that's launched um, in probably recent 2 years. Clubland TV is still successful, so if Channel 4's got financial difficulties, how come Clubland TV is still on air? I think that's probably launched at the same time as the box. And bear in mind, Clubland TV was the original club classics back in the day, like 2010, 2011. You know, that was just pure great era for the traditional sense. But yeah, if you're just going to switch to music and in a digital form, it's going to harm viewers. I've watched it on traditional for many many decades. And most importantly, I mean, if you're going to stream content on Channel 4 app, and you've cancelled your popular shows, how are you going to invest on your app service? You've kept two pointless TV channels on air for this time. How are you going to reinvest and remap your digital landscape? Are you just going to fund maybe original content to stick it on the app and not really broadcast it? It's just an inquisitive question, really, because they've got financial woes. How can they put money back into the brand now? Because 2025 have changed TV, and it's going to change it for the worst. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. What do you think about Channel 4? I mean, do you think they should have closed it maybe in 2019 when they just took ownership, knowing that they wouldn't put money back into the music portfolio of things? Let me know what you think, because it's a time of its era, but with the right money, with the right funding, with the right operator, could potentially still have had 4Music still on TV. But that's just my opinion, really. Um, I think Channel 4 everybody is on limited time. I think if they don't shake up the brand now, it's gonna fall on its sword essentially. So yeah, it's gonna be hard times for Channel 4. But it's just like anything else. You've got to use it or you lose it. If you don't stream Channel 4 on the traditional sense, you're going to lose it. Give Channel 4 the purpose, the reasoning why they should stay on TV, I say. If the more people watch scheduled programming or that level of TV streaming, it might still live on. But if Channel 4 has got its on the drawing board, on the billboard. But 2030 is going to be a digital only brand. It's going to be a really difficult void in EPG, and everyone will be disappointed by it, including me. So yeah, that's just my opinion, but hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll see everybody next time. So thanks for watching.